from the brand new space at 401 Atwood, the corner of Atwood and Bates, called Haven. We're going to be talking with the organizers and the enablers of the Haven space in just a minute, and you guys can hopefully see, let's see, we're gonna see if we can make this better. I'm gonna make this better. View, hold on just 1 second. Okay, I'm not 100% certain why it would not like allow me to show you all the spot here. But you might be able to see the camera, and I hope that on screen you will be able to see more of it than we can see on our little screen here. But the point of being here is to be able to show you all what an amazing space this is and what kinds of cool things can go in here. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the good people from Environmental Services who are going to talk a little bit about some upcoming changes to recycling and trash collection rules. And this is something we really appreciated if you could help us spread the word about in Oakland. And following that, then we will dive right into what Haven is about.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it because we try to reach out to every community you can possibly find that actually has a community group to spread the word and kind of a face-to-face of who's actually behind the recycling in Pittsburgh. I'm Helena Procopio-Ross. I'm the environmental enforcement specialist for the city. My whole job is recycling and outreach, kind of clarify any questions of what is actually recyclable in the city, any questions regarding, why didn't my trash get picked up and whatnot? So I'm just gonna do a little off the cuff speech about all the important things. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty details and bore everybody. Just to start, fun update. The city is now recycling butter tubs, sour cream containers, yogurt containers, cottage cheese, stuff like that. Don't try to expand beyond that. That's the new update. I don't want to explain too much about it, but just think dairy. That's what we're going with. So yay, 2025, we can recycle those new containers because we couldn't in the past. And then I want to also touch base on the recycling contamination and blue bins, because ultimately we want everything in your blue bins to be recyclable. And so the main contaminants that we're seeing is plastic packaging. That is #1 problem child when it comes to recycling, because it's often hiding in your unbroken down cardboard boxes. And that's why we try to reiterate to people, break down your boxes so that way your styrofoam, packing pellets, plastic wrap, bubble wrap can all go in the trash. So that way it doesn't go into the recycling and contaminate it, because contamination is actually a cost for the city. We want to make sure your tax dollars go to all the fun projects that you're equally as passionate about as the environment. So we want to make sure that contamination is at the minimum for the city and in recycling. We're not trying to like, oh, you guys don't know how to recycle. There's a reason. We're trying to, expand the usage of the money that the city has. The second item is, I would say, those pizza boxes that college kids love to chow down on the pizza around here. If it's a greasy part of the pizza box, that has to be just torn off in the trash. Any food residues, oil, paint, spray paint from some sort of fundraiser you guys have made a sign out of, if it's contaminated with anything else except cardboard, it has to be trashed. However, the nice clean top of your pizza box that doesn't get touched by the pizza, that can go in recycling. So just one little extra second before you place it in your recycling can would be the world of a difference for us. Let's see, what else? The plastic packaging, the cardboard, and styrofoam. If you see styrofoam, let's say, you buy a whole new TV and you have a big block of it. That can actually be recycled at Appliance Warehouse. So we highly encourage people, if they get like a new washer or dryer, or let's say you guys go to a fun spring break trip with your friends out onto like a river or something and go kayaking and you have those styrofoam coolers, don't just throw it in the trash after your trip. You know, you can recycle it at Appliance Warehouse if you have no longer a need for it. I also want to mention too, that if you have any recyclables that you don't know what to do with it, check out our website. We have those newsletters on the table there and on our website if you ever want to double check, because your landlords are supposed to give you a recycling guidelines, but if they're not, we have that on the city website too, if you want to double check, or give us a call. We have a recycling Gmail, well, like Outlook, that I look at every single day and I respond immediately to any questions, because the problem is not just, you know, people putting out stuff on in their blue bins. The main problem is all the variety of packaging that things are made out of that we would know for certain if it's recyclable or not. But, you know, the average Joe might not, because, you know, I live and breathe recycling and trash, because that's, you know, that's just my job. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. But, you know, when in doubt, throw it out. That's what we like to go with.
And can I also mention that we've got a recycling magnet that has a QR code that you can shoot and will take you to the current month calendar of recycling days, what is and what isn't, okay? And there's a list of all sorts of other information on that page, just for student renters, the research page specifically for you guys. If you want one of those, there's a little sign up sheet over there, and I'm happy to put you on.
And, you know, and I'd also say, if you guys are students here at Pitt, be on the lookout for me and my coworker, because we will do a couple tabling events throughout the year. We're going to try to get some information out for everybody about what to do with their bulk items as, you know, move in and move out occurs, try to get more awareness going on of possible resources. So that way, you know, perfectly good furniture doesn't just go straight to the landfill. That's because, you know, we don't want, if it has like a minor scratch or somewhat wobbly leg, you know, it still has some life to it. So, you know, be on the lookout for resources that will be popping up at Pitt, because we're going to try to do some more outreach there to kind of spread the word as much as we can. Anything else you think I left out? Yeah, I think that's the recycling world. And as I said before, we have flyers there for you. If you have any like e-waste, like TVs or hazardous waste, you know, like let's say your friend, you know, flung the Wii remote at the TV, no longer works anymore. Just you can fill out, you get the flyer there, make an appointment, and you can, you know, sustainably recycle your TV and not just dump it off the side of a cliff. So that's all I have to say. And that's recycling, but we have a coworker here about 311 and illegal dumping and all in her part of the world.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay, great, sorry. Yeah. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Bagwell. I'm the Environmental Enforcement Coordinator. Normally I come to talk about what to do if you find illegal dumping or how to submit 311 requests, but it looks like a lot of you are students, so I kind of want to take it from your perspective, because I was also a Pitt student, and sort of like what your rights are as renters and what your landlord has to provide or help you with. So I work in code enforcement. Like I said, we enforce the municipal code relating to environmental laws. That's a lot of things like how big can your trash can be, or if you've got like garbage like accumulating in front of your house. Maybe some of you have gotten a letter from the city saying you need to clean this up. Obviously, like the general upkeep of your property, you do have a responsibility to maintain that, but things like replacing your trash can, your landlord has to provide you trash cans and recycling cans. If you have a dumpster, they have to also provide recycling, not just a trash dumpster. So if your landlord doesn't, again, on our website, that QR code in the back, there is a form you can mail your landlord. You can also submit a 311 and we will like liaise on your behalf of how to communicate that to your landlord. That's like the biggest thing I have to say, because I know you're on the receiving end of that letter, and we get calls from people being like, my landlord told me to call you and told me I need to buy a new trash can. It's not the case. It's their responsibility. It is their property. They need to manage it. But some other things we do, I mean, I feel like illegal dumping isn't as common here.
But I like go around tracking illegal dumps, which is part of why we're focused so much on this prevention with move out, because a lot of things do just get thrown off the hillside. Pittsburgh's very hilly, lots of places to just sneakily hide stuff around. But if you have any questions, if you've ever received a letter, feel free to reach out. I can leave my business cards in the back. Is there any questions? No word on quality of life yet. It'll be a while. Soon. And when we do, we'll have another session explaining all of that. So no one gets fined. Thank you.
Thank you so much for you guys. Just for everybody's information, we will have additional events later on this spring and in the fall regarding trash, because it's a perennial preoccupation for all of us who spend a lot of time in Oakland. Y'all like move out, you don't even see what it is that happens behind you, but like, trust me, every individual decision that you make, multiply that by 20,000, and that's the situation that we deal with in Oakland all the time. So, thank you very much. I'm going to introduce Gabby, who's going to then talk about Innovate and Haven and introduce the team at Haven, and please take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabby Levine. I am the Associate Director at the Pittsburgh Innovation District, which is a brand underneath PGH. A little louder. Innovate PGH is not super relevant to our conversation here. What the Pittsburgh Innovation District is, we are a 501c3 nonprofit here in Oakland, partnering with Pitt, OPDC, John Records to bring some life back into Oakland. Our work starts, down here on Atwood Street at Haven, all the way up to South Craig Street with CMU and museums. We do anything from workforce development to place-based management, and that's where I come in with the place-based management. I will say, I remember being in an OPDC meeting, maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago, talking about how badly Oakland needed a legit music venue. And who's gonna take on that responsibility to get that started and get that up and going. And it took longer than anticipated, but people were reminiscing about how Oakland used to be this vibrant, nightlife scene, and people would stay here after school and work. And people don't do that anymore. And that's where, post-genre comes in with this music venue, and where we come in creating spaces for folks like post-genre to be able to express themselves artistically, as well as building out economic development in forms of nightlife. A lot of our work deals with entrepreneurs and startups, and Oakland is full of those, especially around the universities wanting to attract talent. But one thing we lack, Robotics Row in Lawrenceville does, is a vibrant nightlife scene for people here. Why would you want to be here in Oakland if you could be in Lawrenceville that has, bars and clubs and shops to actually do something after your work hours? So, we're really excited that Haven is up and running, and that post-genre really took on that responsibility and that hard work to get it up and running. And taking the first step to making Oakland a great neighborhood that people remember and people want to be in and move back to permanently. But yeah, I'll introduce, Eli and Adam from Post Genre, who runs this great venue, and we're super excited to see it keep growing, expanding, and what it can be for the community.
Thank you, Gabby. My name's Adam Panovich, and this is Eli. Yeah, thank you all for coming tonight. We're excited to share a little bit about what we've been working on over the past year to get this venue open. But yeah, kind of touching on a little bit of what Gabby was talking about. Oakland was once a hub for live music. They've, two blocks down the street, you had the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you had U2, you had the Police playing on Friday and Saturday nights. And then for over 20 years, there hasn't been a music venue in Oakland. So 2004, the last music venue, Club Lager, closed. And since then, a lot of the venues had either been torn down, turned into parking lots, turned into restaurants, other type of spaces. So we're really excited to be taking on bringing music back to Oakland, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that. So
yeah, so our organization is called Post Genre. It's a 100% volunteer-ran organization. We have open team meetings every single month. If any of you guys have any interest in what goes on kind of behind the scenes in live music, There's no background experience necessary, like we invite anyone who just have the curiosity to learn, and, you know, it's a just humongous team project. Post genre is a lot larger than one person or me and Adam. But we've been working with the Pittsburgh Innovation District for about the last like 2.5 to 3 years to put this all together, and we're here and welcome to the space. We have a show on this Saturday and one next Friday if you guys want to see what it looks like outside of a meeting like this. But yeah, we are just from like the Oakland area. Like Adam ran a house venue, I ran a house venue. I've been playing music in Pittsburgh since like I was in elementary school pretty much. So like, it's something that Pittsburgh really deserves, to have a spot where people can feel like they're in, where they're in like the thing that's happening. There's all these larger cities that have these opportunities that, like Gabby was saying, like, Pittsburgh, like losing people to like Lawrenceville is like one thing, but like losing people to New York or LA, like that's a whole nother deal. And so trying to just activate like an economy and a community for the arts in Pittsburgh is really like our big grand plan. So really appreciate all of you guys coming out, and if there's any way that our organizations can work together, I think it's really important, especially now for like local community organizations to communicate with each other and for us to be on that first name basis. And you guys are coming up.
Like for a few seconds, some stuff that you guys probably just took for granted, but which I think it's really worth pointing out. One of those amazing things is the fact that you've been working on this for so long and have activated this space. Like this particular location has sat empty for decades, probably since before, in fact, actually. There was a very brief moment where there was an entity here called the Hookah Bar that operated for like 1.5 minutes. And then before that, 30 years, 40 years, maybe even when there's nothing here. There was a restaurant that had maybe like 3 seasons. And before that, it was empty for a couple decades. So this has been like just an asset in the community that has sat completely underused. And I just want to commend you for the vision to really like see like, actually, this is the space and we're just gonna do it. And we're gonna take it in the teeth for a couple of years to figure out how. You encountered a fair amount of adversity and you managed to make it work. So for this.
Yeah, thank you.
But then the other thing that I wanted to highlight is the fact that this is a place that doesn't have a liquor license. Like what is particularly cool about this, right, is that there is very little to do if you are not 21 in Oakland. So once upon a time, there were a couple of movie theaters in addition to there being live music. There was a bowling alley. There were things to do that did not involve drinking, and there were places to go to hang out that did not involve drinking. And then with all of those things sort of basically evaporating out of the Oakland ecosystem, then there's just house parties, and the house parties have become hazardous. I mean, yes, the concerts, they are needed, like you actually need to program that way, it's true, but you can often have problems with too many people crammed into a basement with no actual means of egress. You're gonna make a bunch of noise, you're gonna disturb your neighbors. This place has been open. There's a lot of neighbors here who don't even know that this has been open, meaning like the stuff that has been put on here, popular events, like really totally banging events, like nothing has, we've heard no complaints whatsoever from the neighborhood. So that is not easy. And I gotta say, like that's some stuff. So I am very impressed, but I love the fact that you are going to have to be creative to keep this space going, to have not just performances here, but other kinds of programming. So would encourage you guys to like actively solicit some ideas there, because the rent here, I will tell you, is not cheap, and these guys cannot do it alone, and there needs to be other stuff that is happening in the space to be able to keep it going.
It's true.
One of the biggest obstacles, I mean, not to with no judgment whatsoever, one of the reasons this place sat empty for so long is because the rent that was being asked of it, was more than the market would really deliver. And so, that is a big challenge. There were no breaks cut here, and Innovate PGH has sort of taken on the responsibility of trying to make this work for a while here, but it's gonna be a group effort. On everybody else, so cool ideas. We have an intern working with our office, whose real keen interest in this place is that it become kind of a vehicle for violence prevention. Like, what happens on the second date and you don't want to take them back to your apartment and you don't want to go drinking? Like, where do you go? And could this be a thing where like you go someplace and have some place to do, to get to know each other better without it being too pressured? Just things like that, like those kinds of spaces can really serve really meaningful purpose in people's lives. So, in addition to just being cool and more fun, like it's a vital part of the community.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea. If anybody wants to talk too, and or if you have any ideas for the space or anything at all, we'll be around, so feel free to come over and talk. But thank you all.
With that, if anybody has anything they want to add on to that, I want to introduce AJ, and we are going to shift over here to talk about another cool place in Oakland that has come together because cool volunteers have undertaken against adversity.
Is there anywhere you want?
What's happening? You do you.
Hi.
Ooh, really good question. People are not. Thank you. Hold on just a second. One moment. I guess I share my own screen. Sorry. Technology. Old ladies, technology. And Zoom changes its interface every other minute. Okay, thank you. I hope that works. Can you guys sort of see? Okay. Oops. Sorry.
You're all good.
Here.
All right, what's going on? My name is AJ Haddon. I'm a junior here at Pitt studying mechanical engineering, also with a track of simulation, going for a simulation certificate as well. If you couldn't tell, that goes hand in hand with building skate parks and stuff. Can I have a show of hands? Who has seen the skate park before down on Boundary Street, right along the trail? All right, that's a good chunk. I'm there every day during the summer when it's not this cold out. I love recognizing faces that walk by, love talking to bikers and dog walkers and everybody that comes into the space. It truly has become a community space over the last couple of years, and I'd like to show you everything. It started off as an abandoned roller hockey court. Really, I mean, we call it abandoned just because really didn't see anyone using it too much.
At the time it was a basketball,
The basketball court, okay, that's what it
but
was.
it had no hoops, so you could be forgiven for not understanding that it was basketball.
Fair enough. And Raul over here in 2020 wanted to find a space for skateboarders in Pittsburgh to use, as there's not really anything official in the city of Pittsburgh. There are no city-funded skate parks. There are hardly any spaces for skaters to go. You kind of got to drive out to the suburbs and stuff. Raul and his buddies brought wooden ramps, little rails that weren't even in the ground and everything. And a couple weeks later, 10 people a day would show up, 20 people a day, 50 people a week. And we started to see a community form. Started to build with concrete, started one object, one ramp at a time. And somehow we're here with the most support we've ever gotten before. We've obtained sponsorships from famous concrete companies like you see at Lowe's and Home Depot. All those bag concrete companies, we've gotten over $5 grand worth of concrete just to help us out, to have us push their product, but they supported our dream. Some projects, some before and afters. It always starts with brainstorming and community input. I bug everybody, what do you want? What's your skill level with skateboarding? What do you not see enough at other skate parks? What do you want to build with your hands? what do I gotta do for you to get your hands dirty, you know? And then from there, rough drawings, we'll post on our Instagram, we'll get feedback, we'll get people really hyped, like whether you don't know how to build it all or you are a professional skateboarder, everyone's been on track and stoked, you know? Some past projects, skater terminology, quarter pipes, rails, ledges, banks, everything that you could see more images on the slide and Instagram. And current projects, it's winter. I don't feel like building right now. It's way too cold, but fixing, you know, cracks throughout the park and stuff once we get started, and I'll go into future projects. So right here, it's a little street section off to the right. That ramp on the left is already there. There's a gate between it. Our newest project that we built was in the back area of the park, a double mini ramp, if you want to call it that. It's been awesome. We've finally expanded outside of a little court and we can hold people now. So many times there is a line from me to the wall, 20 people touching shoulders and stuff because it is such a small space and there are so many people that want to enjoy that space. So we've opened up the back. It's got a lot more people. We're still shoulder to shoulder. Yeah.
I just wanted to add, I saw the construction of this before I live near there.
Yeah.
If you haven't been on Panther Street, it's about 1 lane, 1.5 lanes. And, there was a whole flat truck.
Oh, you were there for that.
18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Well, cause I was wondering why a flat truck was pulling past my house. That pulled past with these, with stacks of concrete, and I don't know, it looked like y'all had like 50-some people building stuff.
Yeah.
My roommate and I ended up walking by, like walking up and just openly staring.
Yeah, for sure.
And I still don't know how that truck turned around, but, it's been a solid, cool effort to watch.
Yeah, for sure. That was about 25 minutes of backing up a truck down the street, shouldn't have been down. But yeah, that was a donation from Sacrete. That is Lowe's biggest concrete dealer and one of the biggest in the world. We won a competition with them. We came in second and they donated $3,000-$4,000 worth of concrete. Do whatever you want with it. They got a forklift and threw it into our park and they were just like, tag us on Instagram. That's all you gotta do. So we really made something out of nothing, you know? So back to this new feature that I want to build come spring when I'm not cold is going to open everything up even more. We are gonna take the back section of the fence down. We're not taking any other part of the fence down. We still want to keep it constrained within its area, but the section of fence that touches the back of the main park and the very back section will open up a little bit more breathing room. A lot of people have been asking, you know, take that fence out, take it out. It's all I hear. And everyone's been wanting a little stair set, a street style section. Like me personally, I would build 20 other different things first, but this is what everyone wants. I've been getting input for the last 2 years and people have been pulling my hair out for it, but I love it. I asked them to do it, you know, it's part of the project. Some park goals is just to continue what we're doing, grow our following, spread the word. Our community goals is to just build a stronger community. I have about 8 phone numbers of people that live right next to the DIY. I just call it the DIY, it's the park. I will go knocking on doors, letting people know when we have events, when we have concrete pours, when we're gonna be loud during the day and rude neighbors, you know? But I've gotten phone numbers, I've talking face to face with so many people and I've not had one complaint ever. There's one house right next to us. He's doesn't skateboard at all and he's came and got his hands dirty. He just loved to see it happen. And some city goals, kind of the whole point that we're here is to get some approval, get everyone on board. You know, ask any skater, they're down, but ask any random person or city member, it takes some convincing, you know, that this is a huge step for us. There are thousands and thousands of DIYs across the world. every country has tons of skateboarders. They're doing this stuff illegally. They're doing it with or without permission. There are parks everywhere. You know, most parks aren't funded by the city. And we are fortunate enough to be in a situation where we can start, you know, working with the city, get everyone on board, truly turn this into one of the best community spaces in the city, you know? Concrete pours. This is like birthdays. They're great. We love them. This is when we get the most people. When I first came to Pittsburgh, I'm originally from Chicago. It's a very similar vibe, but there's a lot more of a community within Pittsburgh. And my first day here, Raul was having a concrete pour. There was about 8 to 10 of us, people I didn't know at all. I walked there and Raul threw a pair of gloves in my face and said, you know, get to work. But no, it wasn't that mean. I worked my butt off all day the first day I was in the city. Do I know why? No, but did I create one of my favorite skate features in the world? Yeah. And I met some of my best friends, like to this day, and they still help out and everything. So I've been shadowing behind Raul for a couple years until he moved out and I took over. And these concrete pours have gotten just bigger and bigger and bigger. We get groups of up to 50 people, either, you know, shuffling in and out throughout the day. When we don't have concrete trucks, we're mixing bags. We're using water out of a water line that the city helped us hook up to. There are 50 people throwing concrete dust around there. It is a zoo for about 4 hours until we start cleaning up and everything looks good. But, you know, seeing that final product when the concrete's laid and smooth and everything, and everyone's tired, but like they know in a couple days that they get to skate something that they just worked their butt off for. It's the most satisfying thing ever. We cover it and people are looking under it like it's a Christmas present, you know? It's a lot of fun, and I'll be posting on the Instagram story, you know, when concrete pours are throughout the spring, summer, and fall. If we're having a pour, come walk by, like, don't get your hands dirty. I don't recommend it. There's plenty of other people that want to, you know, but, I'm just messing. But come walk by and see the community of people that show up for this. It truly is incredible. There are a lot of people. I meet 50% of the crowd that comes every time. I get new crowds and I still have my old reliable crew that always comes through. Our work with the city. I was going over this presentation last night and I was talking about benches for about 10 minutes. I'm not gonna do that here, but these 2 benches were donated from Gary, who works with the city. He does a phenomenal job.
Gary Shuley is the superintendent for District 3 at DPW.
He has been killing it for us for a long time. He is the reason why our park is clean, why we don't look like a bunch of random kids off the street just threw some concrete, rubbing together. He's the reason why we got these benches recently, and it has turned our house into a home. Everyone comes by, relaxes. I get students who have never touched a skateboard or a bike or anything in their life from CMU come do their homework for 4 hours and just watch all day. This isn't one kid. This is families. This is students. This is teachers. There's a couple professors here that come and skate with me. I would hate to have them in school, but we are best friends when we're skating together. It's awesome. But other stuff that the city does is they pick up trash every Monday. It's like a normal house. We have 3 bins. We don't have littering problems anymore. We used to have a little bit, water bottles here and there, but this place is clean. They landscape, they mow the lawn, everything, leaf cleanup in the fall. And we even opened our water fountain to the community. And now we see bikers and dog walkers and everyone using the Shenley Trail walks by and stops, you know, sip of water, but then they'll end up hanging out, watching and stuff. It's awesome finally seeing more than just skateboarders use the space. There's a girl who walks her dog every morning at 9 a.m. who just brings her dog to the park because no one's there, and she lets her dog run around for an hour and plays fetch with that dog every time. And she's super friendly. She just says, you know, hey, can I use this space? And I was like, I don't own it. This is all you. Like, I love to see people not only skateboard, but use the space. And community events, we throw a lot of, we'll call them jams. We'll get a lot of skaters together, contests and stuff. But not only that, we'll get local bands to come and play. Bands that play here, we've seen them on similar flyers and stuff. Have played it at the DIY. We get up to maybe 400 people in a day for an event. We'll do, I think last year we had 3 or 4 events. Great turnouts, great fundraisers. We'll sell merch. We'll get local people to sell clothing and food and concerts and everything. So it really is fun. Here's some contest winners. We do a kids contest, everyone that's like 16 under. And then we'll do an adult contest, and everyone really loves to watch this one. It's fun. It's like watching X Games, but bootleg at home. We'll do flyers. We'll post on our Instagram. We'll advertise the hell out of it. We post it every day. We want to see people. We love seeing randoms that aren't from Pittsburgh show up for these things. And we'll even do women's and LGBTQ events to give them a space. You know, we'll advertise for men not to show up for a day, you know, give the space to this community. And one of our other buddies runs the event, and they do stuff all over skate parks around the Pittsburgh area. So we'll let them use our space. You know, we're all for it. And then some beneficial aspects of a public skate park. I know when I was growing up and before I was even born, skateboarders don't have the best reputation at all. When you think of a skateboarder, I'm sure it's already popping up in your mind what we are, but it's been a lot different lately. I could go on and on about the people that come to this park daily. There's a dad that's a firefighter. His name is Justin. He picks his daughter up from school every day at 3, but he comes to the skate park between 2 and 3, between working as a firefighter and being a parent. And I can go on and on about like the types of people that show up to this park day after day after day. It's awesome. I've gotten in connection with this guy from a company called Spawn Ranch. They're from California. They make multi-million-dollar skate parks across the country and even across the world. He's not doing any work for me, but he helped me out a lot with making this presentation. And he does a lot of stuff about finding, you know, explaining to people why skate parks are so beneficial to a community. I've attached a link at the end of this slide. I would highly recommend it. If this is posted anywhere, it's a really good read. But, you know, some of his points listed here that skate parks reduce illicit behavior and stuff. And it gives a space for, you know, skateboarders to use. And how do I say this? You know, reduces damage to private property. It keeps us to our space. You know, if there's no parks in Pittsburgh, we're gonna skate somewhere. We're gonna, you know, be all over the streets, in your front yard. Some people are like that. I'm not, but you know, I can't speak for everybody. But it also provides a safe space for skateboarders, bikers, rollerbladers, scooter riders. What else even is there? There's so much. And it encourages creativity, whether we're talking about building itself or just coming to skate. Also, local economic impact. I added that for fun because every time I show up, if there's someone new, they're asking where to go get food, where to go check out. 90% of people will say, go to Las Palmas every time. You really do see everyone advertise like the neighborhood. Everyone tells you where to go walk by and check out and shop and to eat. It's been very beneficial. We have people from our place recommending others and vice versa, you know? We also provide opportunity for community service hours for schools like CMU and Chatham and Pitt. If someone needs to work for some sort of reason, some sort of community service hours, I don't know why, but I can always use another hand and we'll sign up hours and stuff, and we've done it in the past plenty of times. And yeah, it's really a good chunk of it. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys and to spread the word. I attached a link to our Instagram. Definitely give us a follow. I don't post that much. I won't be all over your feed. And a link to the GoFundMe. We have it here, but hopefully we won't need that one day. It's the only reason that we've gotten so far is because everyone supports us so much. And yeah, we're just gonna keep going from there. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, ask me now, later, whenever. The other guy dressed up, he works with me all the time. That's Joey. Guy behind him, that's Raul. He started it. He's the brains behind everything. Yeah, ask me or any of that crew, anything. Thank you very much.
For anybody who hasn't ever seen this space, right? So this is what was a basketball court immediately adjacent to a playground. There's a little playground there. And then behind it is a very unactivated space which belongs to the same parcel and stretches across both. That's kind of like up against the hillside. It's also right adjacent to a fenced-in double lot that was once upon a time residential. It's appended to a 1 acre site all the way up the hillside that's owned by Peter Terrace's estate. And maybe the city could prevail on him to his widow rather to maybe, you know, allow these guys to expand because it's just sitting there and it can't be used for anything other than park. So
For sure.
we can maybe look into that. I wanted to let everybody know, DOMI, the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure, is moving forward. And you think 5 years is a long time to put this together, or like 2 years, or 15 years I've been rattling cages about this. No longer, Jesus, 20. Jesus, it's been a long time. There's finally going to be a sidewalk down Boundary Street between John Kerr and Fillmore. And it's really amazing news, and this has required multiple agency coordination, but this will allow much safer access for folks coming in from North Oakland to be able to access not just obviously the DIY park, but then the Eliza Furnace Trail and Shenley Park beyond. So I am very excited about that. Watch for public engagement meetings on that later on this spring. They're gonna get started. They actually found some money and they are going to make it happen. So very exciting. And this isn't me scolding, this is me just saying women and trans are not them. It's all us.
Sorry, yeah.
It's all us, and the whole point is to be able to like, you know, it's an inclusive group and you want to make sure that you're pulling it all together. So I have seen how much people have really glommed together in this effort, and it's a great community initiative. So it's really nice. And it's another one of those situations where you can like really think creatively about spaces that are underloved and think to yourself, this could be so much better. And then, you know, with a shit ton of work, you can actually get something done. And Haven's another great example of similarly like refusing to like let stuff just sit. Not happen. Kudos to all of you guys. Lots of really great work, and it's really awesome. Anybody have anything else you want to talk about or bring up in this podcast? Well, yeah, other spaces that you've noticed that you're like, why is somebody not activating that and get on that? Yeah.
I wanted to just add one thing, what Raul and AJ have done in the space is like really incredible, and seeing it, I've lived here for like 3 years, seeing it go from almost nothing to what it is right now, especially after they got the sponsorship with the SAC and stuff, and seeing how fast that they like put that into motion, and within a matter of weeks, from getting all these pallets of concrete to seeing so many people gather and work on this like new ramp. And like, it must have been like no more than a month or two, and then you see the final product, you think about all the hands that have touched that, and just now it's there, hopefully set in stone for a long time. It's like such a great thing to see. So.
I will share also, like for anybody who might be not familiar, the Union Project is a group on the corner of Stanton and Negley in at the intersection of Highland Park and East Liberty, that was an empty wreck also. And a group of students, basically, or recent graduates, who moved to the neighborhood, decided to rescue it. And now, what is it, 20 years later, 25 years later, it is a very, it's a totally established arts organization. One of the things that I learned from that project was about the glory of barn raising. So one of the things that you see, like when you involve people in actually constructing and modifying the space and building in it, they have a real sense of ownership. So the Union Project, for instance, enlisted community members to learn how to restore stained glass and use the windows of the church, of which there were hundreds, to learn. And so like generations of students basically learning how to restore stained glass, and you can still walk in and be like, I did that one. When you have a sense of like this, I care what happens to the space because I've invested my own effort in it. It was a Mennonite effort there, but in that case, it's like, it's the spirit of barn raising. People want to be asked to help. They want to be invited to participate and to contribute their own ideas and like actually make things with your hands. So this is something that I find really inspiring. I don't put you on the spot, David, but you've been a neighbor of that spot, that whole area for a long time, where you were. What, do you want to say anything about the activation of that space down there? You've had eyes on it a long time.
I'm sorry.
Do you want to say anything at all about the activation of the space down there on Boundary Street? You've paid attention to that area for a long time, and I was just wondering if you had any thoughts.
All right, well, the thing is that, we used to own rental property there, and, but the sidewalk, not in Boundary, was really easy. I drive through there all the time.
Right? Yeah.
Rather than drive from Central Oakland, and there's some brick being out.
Right.
So I drive there when I go to the gym, and, Boundary Street has a lot of hollow stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
So you resurfaced Boundary Street last year.
You wouldn't even know it at this point. Honestly, it looks like 7 or 8 years.
Well, are you talking about?
Boundary that sort of then connects with Neville. It's not a
Oh,
very.
that
long-
spot is, yes, that spot's terrible.
That was real last resurfaced about 7 years ago, but even so, it looks like horribly long. There's a lot of geotechnical engineering that has to go into figuring out how to manage the sidewalk along there, and because it's actually a stream, the whole of Boundary Street, there's a culverted stream underneath it that goes through all the way down to Greenfield and empties into the Mon. It's called 4 Mile Run. And it is the watershed for not just the parts of Oakland that you can see, but the greater part of Squirrel Hill actually drains into that very same hollow, and you have all kinds of attendant problems. So, but the sidewalk up above is in the district that belongs to City Council person Erica Strasburger. Thank you so much for joining us for this. But do you have any other thoughts that you'd like to contribute to that area, or not to put you on the spot?
Well, there was an effort about 10 years ago to look at stream or stormwater capture, and how it contributed from Squirrel Hill. It's not the section of Squirrel Hill that I represent, but still care very much about it, because it is still Squirrel Hill. And although, as we know, Squirrel Lake hasn't been touched for many years, many decades, I'm still holding out hope that at some point we can bring it back to this. I don't want to say old glory, because like we want it to be a more accessible green space, but eventually get there. That said, I think that there are a lot of I also sit on the Pittsburgh Water Authority board, and so there are a lot of eyes and people thinking that, a lot of people thinking about and actively working on permits to figure out exactly what we can do to control the water that runs down the sort of hillside where the meadow grows, near the oval and then down to the park, and then also down the railroad track down the street side. And there's a lot of work happening behind the scenes, but I do hope that we can all, in the same spirit of a DIY project or others, that we can all come together and multiple agencies can come together to make it a lake. But it is, but it would. So I know that's not exactly what you were asking, but it's my personal hope that can be another stage of activation and community building. So.
It's Councilperson Strasburger is being too modest in saying that it's 10 years. It's actually been at this point, what, 20 because the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy had, years and years and years into it, and the PWSA had years and years and years into it, at one point had an entire $40 million green restoration project that they were going to, put in there. Agencies, even big agencies like that can encounter big brick walls. And PWSA encountered one in the form of the railroad and the DEP, failing to permit their reconstruction of the lake and its, dam. To be continued. It's not the kind of thing that you just like give up. It's just that you don't 100% know where the next step is coming from. So I'm gonna kind of work at it. So you guys think that you work on things for a long time. Sometimes it's wild. But Liz,
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to you guys.
Seriously.
Okay. I work as a community liaison and I've been the trash queen and the 311 queen for over a decade now. A lot of the complaints I would get was loud parties in basements, skateboarders that are turning walls into ramps. I haven't gotten these calls. I mean, I was holding my breath. And you guys are,
yeah,
I was like,
just sitting next to the scanner.
please, yeah, give it my phone, I'm waiting for the call. I haven't gotten any call. I haven't gotten any complaints through the neighborhood. They came over here and they just poured cement, and they did this, this, and this. And it just proves that if you create these spaces, that, you know, it makes it work. Yeah. It makes everything better for everybody, including like sometimes grumpy residents. You know, they don't have any.
Because we love the grumpy residents.
I love my grumpy residents, but there are days. But, you know, but the point is, you guys took a negative for this community and you've turned them around. Okay, you've added. We've gone from minus to plus in both situations. And just made mine better. So I'm saying thank you very much.
Yeah, all the, what you were saying about the barn raising, like being a part of the skate park build has been so cool. Like there's not many things that I'll wake up at 10 a.m. on a Saturday to do. And to go down to the skate park and get your hands dirty and pour concrete for hours at a time and your back sore from mixing it all up all day. And it's just such a cool reward to see other people using it and finally get to ride it yourself. Like we spent months of, you know, I got to hear him, you know, working on all his plans and how he's gonna do this and how he's gonna do that. And to finally see it come to fruition and get to use it. And then when we opened it, we had the Halloween jam, and to see hundreds of people enjoying the space that we spent hours and hours and hours just working on was super cool and special. And just such a cool thing to be a part of.
Very awesome. Okay, so thank you very much. If anybody has any other announcements and.
Okay. Before I was talking about the trash magnets, if you go to your refrigerator, the QR code. I've got a sign up list. If anybody wants one, if they can give me some information, I'll get them to you. That way you don't have to worry about going and doing, digging around and wherever, looking for it. You can shoot if you're going and get the information directly. And we do update it on a monthly basis so that the information isn't current, or is current, since it's been a long day. And also, we're looking for ideas of what else you need to know, so we can add to that resource page. And my last request for, if you haven't signed in, please sign up.
Yeah, we also do not bomb your inbox, but we do get notices of stuff like that. Actually, yes, once a month. Towards that, and also wanted to point out, there's an intercollegiate group that's getting started, CMU Pitt students that are interested in trying to develop resources for renters, particularly for student renters, but things can be applicable for anybody at any age. But the idea is like both like helping people who are in trouble with their landlords, helping people to advocate for safer housing, better housing conditions, and affordability. It's 3 different areas of plugging in. We'd like, and OPC is happy to host and support this initiative. So if you're interested, we can connect you with those kids that are making that happen. Cool. Thank you. Let me just have a
Woohoo!